Hello guys and welcome back to the 8th episode of this Schalke 04 career mode. Last episode you saw us end the third season with Schalke where we ended in the 4th place which made us qualify for the Champions League. This episode I'm going to show you how we did in the first half year, so in the first half year of the Bundesliga and also in the Champions League. It's now the 3rd of January. Um, I will show you how we've gotten on. We currently are studying for our Continental A license, which means that all of our attributes go up even more, which is very nice to see. And a lot's happened transfer-wise and competition-wise. So let's just dive into that straight away. So we go to schedule, and right here you can see how we did. So we did start with a couple of nice friendlies. I think you saw until here the 2 victories and the 1 loss. After that, we went on a pretty nice run, as you can see right here, unbeaten in all games, only lost in a friendly here. After that 2-3 loss against Hanover, we beat Besiktas and we drew Atalanta, beat Real Madrid here, Feyenoord, and also Michelin in the Champions League after only um, drawing Lens. And as you can see in the Bundesliga, doing very well as well. Let me just show you the Bundesliga. Right here you can see. So win against Union Berlin, Red Bull Leipzig also beat Bayern 6-2. Great first half on our part. Was a really nice game to watch as well. We did pretty well. Then we won 2-1 against Borussia Dortmund, and what I saw happening a lot was that we got a lot of red cards. You can see one right here from Ziesinger, and then also from Aiden here in the 3-1 win against Wolfsburg. We still managed to get those wins, so that was good, but that could have also turned around very quickly. So yeah, you see only wins and only losses. So let's see how we're actually doing in that Bundesliga season. And we are in first with Greenwood as the top scorer of the whole league, and the average rating he's also in there. And Asan Ouedraogo also with 7 assists in that league. So yeah, first place with a game to play. Bayern have really fallen from grace. They haven't won it yet last year. Last year it was right Leipzig, and I feel like we could take it this season. We do have a good squad. I don't think if it's good enough to keep a hold of it because we don't really have any superstars, but we could still try. Yeah, especially after that 6-2 win against Bayern. But unfortunately, we still have to play a lot of tough away games, so we'll have a look with that. But the chances are very much possible as the pundits predicted us to come in fifth, and we're currently in first, so we're doing very well right there. Then let's go into the Champions League. In the Champions League, you can see where we are currently in the fourth. It's the new look how it looks, how the Champions League looks, the new schedules, and that you have to play all different teams. But we're in fourth. We're already placed, but I preferably would want to get placed in the first 8 because that means that you can skip around. In here, we're also doing very good, mainly playing our backup squads, so not really our first squads, because I think the Bundesliga for now is more important, that we get the Champions League every single season, which is surprisingly we're also doing very good in the Champions League, so that's good to see. And then another thing that we also had was, of course, the DFB Pokal, where you can see that we're drawn into the quarterfinal. We've done very well for ourselves. I think we beat, yeah, Regensburg, who is a second the Bundesliga team, and then in the second round we also beat HSV, who's also in the second Bundesliga, and Reutlingen, who are actually a non-professional team, which we had the hardest match against. So as you can see in the quarterfinal, Borussia Dortmund is still in, Red Bull Leipzig, Bayern 04. So that's only the most important teams. So I think the semifinals are going to be a joy to watch because it's going to be a very tough match right there. If we look at the schedule, what we still have to do is that we still have to play Benfica and Arsenal, but I think we won't win against Arsenal, and Benfica is also quite hard, but we'll see how we can do. And in the Bundesliga, we have 3 home games in a row, so we should hopefully be able to get all 9 points from those. So now you see how we've been doing. Let me now bring you to how the transfers have been going, because there's something to note. We didn't bring anyone in yet. Well, we did a regen Martin Moshka, who is already a 3.5 stars. I just gotta find a space for him in my team because I'm playing. He doesn't really have any stats that we can use him for. He's missing the dribbling to be a attacking player, and he's also missing the defensive things side of it. Only 11 tackling, 11 passing. He's a perfect ball playing, deep lying playmaker, but I don't think we're gonna play him there. I'm going to try to make him into a Schooner Volante and practice his shooting a bit more because he has pretty okay stats for that position as well. He just lacks a bit of composure of the ball and positioning, but the other stats seem pretty nice. And if he doesn't fit into our system, I will just loan him out and probably sell him on for a lot more money later on. Then let's go to the departures. We did see Rani Kadira leave to Al Riyadh for 12 million. He was on pretty cheap wages for us. I didn't really want him to leave, but he had some complaints about his playing time, so we decided to move him on. He played one full season for us, in which he did very well. Then he kind of became a backup, and he didn't really like that, so that's why we had to move him on. And for the other transfers that we're doing is right here. You can see we're not bringing anyone in, but we're getting a lot of bids in from other players. Lotka has a bid for 4.5 million. Our backup goalkeeper and our starting goalkeeper. Jonas Urbik has an offer of 27.5 million in for him. We bought him for 4 million, so that would be a nice profit. And I think if they want, they can get him because I will just look for another goalkeeper who is as good or even better than him. Then also, this is a young player, 2.5 million. He doesn't really get any playing time for us in the main team, but he's for Schalke for the second team, very important. And then a big offer in for Gustav Isaacson, as you can see, 85 million. Atletico Madrid are bidding for him. I would love to see him go for that kind of money. We get 46.5 million for him, which is just insane. After picking up for 7.5 million, he's doing okay for us. He's not great. He's just a rotational player. I think next season. So just to get rid of him like this would be very nice. That does mean we need to go into the transfer market and look for some hot prospects or some old timers that we can bring in our team to see what kind of people we can replace them with. We're also going to be looking for some pre-contract signings, but I will come back to you in a bit to show you at the end of the January transfer window what kind of business we have done this year. So stay tuned for that and see you in a couple of seconds. Hi guys, here we are back again. Before I do anything or show you anything else, let me just show you that I just got my Continental A license, which means that these are the stats that I get. 20 level of discipline, 17 motivation is pretty nice. Didn't really get a lot of coaching, good attributes, but we'll just have to deal with what we got. Anyway, I wanted to show you some signings that we've made and some sales that we've done. Of course, all these signings are made with the datasheet. You can find the link in the description with that datasheet, how I do the signings and how I sign players. It's all in there. Go check it out. And the link is in the description. And there I will explain how I do the data. Anyway, let's go into the signings. But first, I think I will show you the sales. So we have a couple of people who left. In this transfer window. The most noteworthy one was Isaacson. So Isaacson has left for Atletico Madrid for 54 million, 85 with add-ons, and those add-ons are mainly installments, so we just get them over the years. So for a guy that played pretty good on average for us, it was pretty nice to just cash in. I already had a replacement for him in line, so that's all fine. Then also our backup goalkeeper Lotka went for 3.9k to Vigo, which meant that we had some transfer budget left over to buy another goalkeeper. And Mulateri, who was a backup striker, went for 3.5 to Nottingham Forest in the Championship. He didn't play a lot for us. We played some in the Champions League, but that's alright because we have a couple of youngsters coming in. Then let's go for the transfers in. Of course, you saw in the previous bit that we sold Kadira. He's also right here. So we brought in a replacement, 1.6 million for Tom Kraus. Just a very good ball winning midfielder, 16 tackling, 12 marking, very good mentals for that position, and just a perfect player as a backup. Only on 25k, so that's cheap. Then we bought in Gabriel Silva as a replacement for Isaacson, a youngster. he doesn't look that good at first glance, but 14, 15, and 14 in the magical trio is pretty nice. 16 off the ball, 14 work rate. Great physicals, can still improve a lot, so he could become even better. Really hoping he has a good potential for us to so which we can use. Looking as a good player, could also play as the shadow striker role and even maybe at the inside forward role on the left or the right side. So very versatile in that attacking positions. And then also we brought in Gabriel Slonina because Urbik was leaving. Eventually Urbik didn't leave, so we now have a first keeper and Urbik is going to be a second keeper. So this guy looking like the real deal. His potential ability got downgraded a little bit, but I still think he's going to be very, very good for us in that sweeping keeping position. So those are the signings that we made. So the team is looking like this right now. So Slolina goes in the first place. Now we have Malasia, Kone, and Zizinger, and together with Mehmet Aydin in the back. Franco and Fabian Koetse are still in the midfield, and Molera, Quadrago, Silva, and Greenwood up front. Then our new signings, Tom Kraus, is just the backup. Our new goalkeeper, Slolina, is going to be our starting goalkeeper. And Gabriel Silva already got himself a couple of games. I think he already scored like 3 goals. Yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist, but 2 goals in the Champions League as well. So that's very nice. Looking very promising from that person. Then let me just show you real quick how we did. We lost against Benfica. We won against. Let me show you. Let's start with the 2 losses, Bayern and Werder Bremen. I don't know what happened here. My 2 goalkeepers were injured, so I had to play a field player, but that didn't really work out too well. So lost those 2 games, but then retaliated back with a 4-1 win, a 0-1 win, and a 3-1 win, and more especially against Arsenal, 3-0 win. Very nice, which means that we are now placed for the UEFA League Championship, and we just get the last point in the top 8, which means that we don't have to play an additional game, and we just get straight on to the round of 16, I do think. In the Bundesliga, still on top, only by 2 points now because of those 2 losses, but still doing pretty nicely for ourselves. Let's see if we can get this trend going and at the end of the season be maybe crown champions. I don't know. We'll see about it back then. That's everything I wanted to show you. As for the finances, we still have 22k in the bank and 91k in the overall balance. What I tried to do this season is I tried to buy Endrick because his contract was running out, but eventually he decided to join Bayern 04 because they had a stronger squad than us. Would have really loved this guy to come into our team, but couldn't really do anything about it. Gave him a big contract, but he didn't really accept. And also 2 signings. Kostas Tsimikas is joining us next season. Very good left back, just a great guy. Overall, he's going to really help us in that wing back position. So very curious what he can do for us. And also another Liverpool player, Fabian Cannavaro. He's coming in as a kind of backup option for us. So he's joining the first of July, I think. And once those guys come in, we will just see how the squad is looking. I'm going to sim through until March because we do have another youth intake in March. Let me just show you where it is right here. Youth intakes a center back and an attacking midfielder. Once again, an excellent intake, but we're gonna see if there's anyone useful. It doesn't really look like it. Probably 1 or 2 guys that are going to be useful, but we will see about that anyway. That's it for now. So I'll be back once we have that youth intake coming in, and that for me that's like a month in game, and for you that's just a couple of seconds. So see you in a bit. Hello guys and welcome back. Here we are once again with the youth intake. It's the 13th of March in 2027. So let's get on and see what kind of youngsters we did bring in. Before you have any expectations, they were pretty shit. So here they are, our best intake. As you could remember from the last video, it said we had an excellent youth intake. Well, they lied. The best player we have is Stefan Georgiev, a Macedonian with 17 determination, fairly determined, looking very good. And the next best things are things like this or like this. So really nothing really noteworthy. This guy's an ambitious, so I'm not giving him a contract. I think in total there's like 10 players that I've given a contract. I can take a look if I wanted to. We go to youth. Then you can see right here, there's like a couple of players I gave contracts to. Why? Usually because they have determination and not a bad personality. So that's all fine. What I wanted to show you is that I've just had the craziest game that I've seen in a while in FM. So how we've been doing since we last left off is we won against Hannover in the Pokal. Then we had 3 wins and 2 draws. The draws were very unfortunate. We had to play our backup squads because it was just before the UEFA, the Champions League game. So I wanted to rest my squad. So the backup squad didn't manage to win against the number 16 of the Bundesliga and the number 10 of the Bundesliga, so still need to tweak something about there. But these games were very nice, all with the main squad, so that was good to see. And then let's take a look at this Arsenal game. We were we tied them 1-1 at first, and then we scored a penalty. We were leading, and then I thought, okay, let's at the 75 minute, let's take it back, and I just put everything on defense. And then they suddenly got a penalty in the 96th minute, which was totally unbelievable. Um, so then they scored in the 150 minute, and I was surely it's over. Surely we've lost. And then we got an equalizer at the 120th minute from Uedrago, who never gave up. I actually wanted to take him off, but he never gave up and he scored that equalizer. And then we went into penalties, which is just a lottery, and we scored 4. They missed 2, so we went through to the next round. And in the next round, I'm not quite sure who we can face. It's going to be pretty big teams, pretty big teams. It will be drawn the 19th, so in a week. But if you saw like in the round of 16, there's still a lot of teams left. AC Milan, Inter, who I don't want to face, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, Leipzig, United, Chelsea, Manchester City. All the big teams are still in here, but we've already um, beat one, so we can beat another. You think? I'm very curious um, how our player was doing that we sold, Gustav Isaacson, who we sold to Atletico, how he's doing now for Atletico. 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 play of the match, a 7.7 average rating, which for the money that he cost isn't a lot. If we go to clauses, we should be able to see some clauses anywhere in here. Is this what we have to? I think this is what we have to pay. Yeah, so if you go for in and then search on Atletico, it should be somewhere in here. Or I might just be looking all over it. Um, because I'm very curious, like what they still have to pay for him. Gustav Isaacson, here he is. So we're still owed 253 million in installments, and then 50 million after he makes 10 more international appearances, which I think he will, and after 45 league appearances also. I'm not sure if he is really. He doesn't really play a lot for the Danish team, but I think he will get there eventually. So that 50 million is easy to cash in on, because he's also one of their top players. So I think he's going to um, get that as well. So as you can see in the league, we're still ahead by 4 points on Bayern 04, and we not really have that much very hard games anymore. Wolfsburg might be hard, Bayern is hard, Dortmund is hard, and Bayern itself, Bayern 04 I meant here, and Bayern itself is going to be hard. But a top 4 finish is very likely. If we're going to win it, not sure, but this is just the power of using data to make a team. If you want to know how I use data and how I choose my selections for a certain tactic, then go in the description and you'll see a link to the video where I explain how you get the right people for the right roles. So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. If you like this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a ton. Also, let me know down in the comments what you like to see me do next, and if you have any questions, I love to answer them. I've seen that a lot of people are subscribing to me right now, and I really love that. I like that. So thank you a lot for that, and I hope you've enjoyed. I hope to also see you in the next one. And for now, as always, take care.